What I wish legal guardians understood about this game, Roblox, okay? Roblox, however you say it. Because, listen, Roblox is a game that is very highly popular, particularly amongst like kids below the age of, say, 15. So underaged kids, right? Particularly the really young ones like that can just about figure out how to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way up to about the like 13 mark. Yeah, that little sweet spot there, those kids are the ones who frequent this app. And it's one of those things that I often see parents, legal guardians, and teachers and whoever brushing off as if it's just another one of these random games that kids play that's all a bit of silly nothingness. I want to first of all tell you guys how this game actually works for those of you who are not familiar, because I think you guys need to know, because I may be smiling, okay? I'm a jovial person, all right? I'm one of those, if I don't laugh, I'll cry type of folks, right? And so I'm smiling, but I'm actually infuriated, okay? And I'm infuriated because we're not even getting to the Squid Game thing, but we'll kind of come back to that. It's got nothing to do with this video. Well, it does, because I was watching Kai Cenat did a stream and of him doing Squid Games on Roblox. So I was like, first of all, that doesn't surprise me because Roblox is known to like have like, they'll take games that are in other games and they'll be recreated, because Roblox is almost like its own metaverse. Like it's an incredible, I want to first of all, I say this as well. It's an incredible app. Like, I get why it's so popular amongst kids, because the possibilities are endless. You can go and visit other people's rooms, other people's games that they've made. They recreate stuff. Like, so somebody recreated the Squid Game and I was watching it and I was thinking, this is actually quite good. Like, you know, this, that, and the other. You can talk to people on there. You can have your own avatar. So it's a good game. I just want to start off by saying that it's a really good game. It's one of those games out there that if I was in a different stage of my life and I was a different age in my life, I would probably spend hours on it myself. Having said that, I have been on there and I have used it and I have played with kids on it, and I'm going to come to why I did that and how that and what I learned from doing that. But anyway, so I go on to I'm watching the stream and immediately I was like creeped out so much because I could just hear like a symphony of the voices of like really young children. And it just made me feel so off, because why have I clicked onto a YouTube video, right, where I'm watching an adult person? Even Kai is young, bless his heart. He's 22, so he's an adult, but you know what I mean? And thank goodness for people like him, because he's obviously interacting with these kids. They're all on his stream. So let's just talk about this first and foremost. They're all on his stream. So their names are there. They're all over the internet. He's got, I don't know how many tens, he's probably got to have more than 10 million subscribers, I would imagine, let alone however many subs he has on Twitch and whatnot, what have you. And so you've just got all these kids, right? And they're just obviously saying nonsense, because that's what kids do. They say nonsense. They're reckless. They don't really know what they're saying. They don't really, you know what I mean? They're still just all over the place. Also, they're all freaking out because they've all come onto Roblox and Kai Cenat is there bossing them around saying like, guys, do this, whatever, right? It was just something so creepy about them just being so freely there, first of all, in the world to be accessed to, because like I said, not only is anybody else can just hop in on these calls. This is the thing that I'm trying to drive home to the adult population as somebody that works with kids, right, or has worked with kids. You yourself, because if you're not a predatory person, so you're not thinking about a lot of the things that I'm going to mention, because it's not in you and you're therefore expecting that the world isn't like you, and you need to stop with that. That needs to end today. We need to leave that in 2024. And I mean that with love, because it breaks my heart when I hear stories about what happens to these kids on Roblox and all these different platforms. And I am literally having like what I feel like my whole life all the time, where you're like watching like a train that's about to crash, or a plane that's about to crash, and you're trying to do everything to literally scream to everybody that we need to stop this thing from happening, and then you just have to watch it happen and watch everybody be like, oh, how did this happen? Like I feel like that's what I'm watching. I feel like 10 years from now, all these kids are going to become adults, and it's just going to be like this plane crash that's going to happen, and it's like you know what I mean? This is why I sound crazy all the time, because I can see it coming and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of seeing things coming, sounding the alarm bells, shouting to the peoples, and people just brushing it off, and then when all is said and done, we just have to deal with the consequences. So that's why I feel very passionate about this stuff to do with the kids, because I see it. So these kids are just there right now. So all these kids, I don't know what ages they are, or whatever, their usernames, which means they can be easily added, because all you need to add somebody on something, as we all know, is just have their username. They can have their usernames added. So if you're the wrong person with the wrong intentions, that's all you need now. And you've gatewayed yourself one-stop shop to talking to a kid. And all you have to do as a person, as a predatory individual, is just pretend that you're also a kid, because like they're all avatars on there, so you can't actually see. This is one of the biggest things with Roblox that I feel like is one of the biggest red flags, is because you are an avatar on there. It's not like where you have a profile, at least like in social media apps, like on Instagram, you have a profile. You know what I mean? Which again, people don't necessarily post themselves on their own profiles, so you don't know who's on where and what. But at least, you know what I mean? Or even places like YouTube, like if somebody's making a video, you can see who the person is, again, if they choose to do so. But with this, you're all talking on there, you're all avatars. Nobody knows anybody from Adam. And the problem is now is that, yes, and I was literally speaking. So the reason I got Roblox in the first place is because there was a bunch of kids I knew that were playing Roblox. So I was like, okay, as I always do, like I said to you guys, the TikTok. I don't have TikTok. I haven't had TikTok in like a long time. But I was like, if I know kids that are on an app or any type of thing on, so listen, I grew up in social media. So I've had to deal with the absolute Thor's hammer of a wake-up call that came to me in the last couple of years, realizing how problematic it was for me to be as unsupervised on the internet as I was, right? And how much it's costing me in my life today, right? And so I am very protective about the kids on the internet, because I'm like, so whenever I know a young person or young people that I know are on the internet, I make an effort to go on to download the apps, to make my own account, make my own avatar, start playing the game. I play a couple games with them. I figure out exactly how the games work. And then I pop in every now and then, you know, to spy and scope, because at least then I know their usernames. I know what types of games that they like to play on there. I know, you know, I can watch out for any sketchy behavior, because like there's this like game, and it's called like, I don't know, it's one of these weird games. Like when it's a bunch of kids, it's nothing, it's harmless. When it's grown adult people potentially talking to children, that's when it gets problematic. It's like a family game where like, what is it called? I can't remember the name of it. It's called like, what is it called? I don't remember. It's called like Mothers and Fathers or something like that, right? And like I said, when it's a bunch of kids just doing whatever they're doing, not a big deal, right? Kids are actually, ironically, under the right circumstances, are a lot more innocent than you might think. I've noticed over time. But yeah, so it's fine when there's a bunch of kids playing on this, right? But then again, even still, and this is my other thing, it's my same argument for going to school. You can do whatever you want to do in your household, of your rules, and we don't use phones after this time, and we don't do that. But at the end of the day, your child's going to be at school, again, unsupervised around all these bunch of other kids who are coming from God knows what backgrounds, sharing God knows what information, telling them about God knows what things you don't want them to be getting involved in. Like, this is how a lot of people get involved in drugs early, or like, you know, different things like that. Because they come to school, like I remember even when I was at school, there was a bunch of girls in my year group now. There was a bunch of girls in my year group who used to drink all the time in lessons, like drink alcohol. Obviously, the drinking age is young in the UK anyway. You can drink from 18, and you can drink actually from 14 if you are drinking with a meal and there's an adult present. So you can literally go to the pub or to a restaurant and have an alcoholic beverage at 14, as long as there's an adult there that is consenting to it, and you're having your drink with food, right? But anyways, just to say that the drinking age is lower here anyway, and people start drinking like really early. So these girls are just casually drinking in school. So imagine me, who's come from a household where like my parents did not drink whatsoever, like growing up, you know what I mean? Imagine me coming from that household. Does it really matter that they don't do it? Because I'm still exposed in the like 8 hours a day I spend at school. That's what I'm saying about how these things, like, it's like at some point we have to all recognize that maybe we need to just come together and have a group project and like really restructure like a lot of things. Maybe that's an idea. You know what I'm saying? Because you see what I'm saying? That's just one example that I can think of. And I mean, there's all manner of different things that was going on at school. And again, me coming from my background of like, I wasn't allowed to watch things like Harry Potter, The Simpsons, whatever. What else was I not allowed to do? I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of different shows, right? A lot of different things. I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things. I wasn't allowed to get involved in Pokemon. Like, it was a lot of things. And it was good. This was the very first early stages. Meanwhile, lots of other heinous things also happening. But the point is, in the very early stages of my life. So that's all well and good. But I'm still going to the same very place where all of these kinds of things are available to me. And you're not there. You're not even close to being there. It's the same thing as what I'm trying to say with Roblox, where Roblox is that times a million, because this is now all the kids in all the world. And the chances are the more kids that are on there, or the kids that can be on there more, are the ones that are the least supervised. Because you always see it. Like with different kids, right? You have some kids where like their parents, do the usual. You can spend like 2 hours doing this, whatever, fine. And you have the ones that clearly are just there all the time, every time, whatever. And you can actually see the difference in the kids and the way that the kids actually behave. And that's why I'm saying all the time. I want to know. I really, really want to know if we say when a child is intelligent and mature and responsible and well-mannered, how come we say, wow, your parents did such a good job? But when that's not the case, we just don't know how this all happened. When that's not the case, it's the friends they've been hanging around. There's got to be something else. Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, I'm not trying to, I promise you guys that my intentions of this is not to make people feel bad. My intentions of this are to say, guys, we have a shared problem that we're all participating in allowing to happen. And maybe, just maybe, we should regroup as a group. This is what I'm trying to say. That's all I'm trying to say here. Because it is so overwhelmingly heartbreaking for me. Overwhelmingly has become one of my main words at the moment. But because I'm overwhelmed by a lot. Hold on. I think I'm so overwhelmingly overwhelmed by a lot of things. But like, what else are we going to do? Because at a certain point, like, I genuinely at a certain point feel that the adult population just needs to stop having kids. Because if there doesn't ever come a point where we actually start to take accountability to change things, then why are we doing this? Are we doing this just because of what? If you just wanted to have sex, you can do that without getting pregnant. Listen, there's a whole bunch. We're in the 21st century. The same 21st century that built games like Roblox is the same 21st century that has multiple forms of contraception. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just getting sick of it. I'm just getting so sick of, like, we just, and it's the amount of times, like, especially because with Christmas just coming, and I'm seeing all the parents like, oh yeah, I bought Robux. I'm buying Robux for my kids, Robux for Roblox, yeah, Roblox. And I'm like, I hope you're doing some level of supervision over there. I really do, because the kinds of people that is out there, and they're preying on the innocence. Like I said, they prey on the innocence. They prey on the fact that, your mom and dad, they just don't want you to be happy. I wish that parents could go back to not having to be their child's friend again. Like, when did that die? When did it die that parents could actually just not choose to be okay with that? Because you have to be okay with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's almost like, but then I know what it is. I just feel like people just had kids and they just didn't expect to have to do a lot, or that they live in a society where the shared societal contract is that as long as you have the word parent in front of you, as long as you have the word mother or father, that automatically means that it's highly more likely that you are good and you've done your absolute best. And that's a societal agreement. Albeit the results don't match. And this is what I keep saying, and I'm going to keep saying it because I want to irritate people to the point that we wake up. This is why people aren't good at maths. This is exactly why. Because we put 2 and 2 together and we make 5, right? When we know it should be 4, but we make it 5 because if 5 makes us more comfortable than 4, then we're just going to make it 5. And as long as we all say it's 5, it's great. It's fine. As long as we've all agreed it, and this is my problem with this whole herd mentality and why there has to be some kind of force that supersedes humanity and humans and human thinking. Because in reality, the way society operates and the way that we are as adults is, as long as we are all in agreement that this is okay, then anything is actually okay. And I don't think people realize that. And that's why the devil works slowly. He brings things in slowly, like I say, about so many different things, so that, like I've said this about caffeine. Now we're living in a day and age where you have, Christian people doing, coffee and Bible time. tea time and scriptures. We all have teas and coffees after church and teas and coffees at Bible study. But once upon a time, like around the time when I was born and I was young, caffeine was considered a drug and was considered demonic now. But you see how all it took was just a little, and I'm not trying to villainize even caffeine. I'm just trying to make a point about us and our shared societal contract that we keep signing of things that are actually destructive to ourselves. And caffeine for me is an interesting one because caffeine can kill you. And I did have to do for part of my degree, I had to do a whole like scientific, like I did like research, like decaffeinating tea bags and like decaffeinating things. And then I had to like deep dive into caffeine, what the dosage is that can make you sick, what the dosage is that can kill you, because it can kill you. So, you know, that's why I like to use caffeine. Also, that's the other thing that's a societal contract. It's not weird if somebody drinks 6 cups of tea a day. Then that's not a problem. But if somebody has, say, I don't know, a glass of wine a day, we're like, if you can't stop yourself from that one, maybe you have a problem. But then if somebody says that they can't function at the start of the day without their cup of coffee, that's just, oh, okay. Right, because it's another societal contract. Anyways, you guys, you get the point here of what I wanted to say. I'm just trying to say, let's hone in as adults and let's do better is essentially what I'm trying to say. So I hope you guys understood where I was coming from. But yeah, when I saw this Roblox thing, and Roblox is just that game that irritates me because I know it's the one that everyone shoves to the side. Like if I were talking about an 8-year-old playing GTA, people would be feeling differently about it, right? But we're talking about Roblox and it looks all kid-like and it looks all whatever. But if you actually look at and you actually play the game, like I dare you, if you're a parent, yeah, or an adult, go and download the game. And I want you to, while you do, download it and just like spend like an hour playing it, right? And as you do, I want you to think about the opportunities and the possibilities of what can be done on that platform. And think about if we should be just shoving it to the side the way that we do. That's all I have to say on that note for this one, you guys, because life's a game that's played to win. God bless you. God loves you. I love you. And I'll see you in my next one.